Hey, I have a quick note before I get into the episode. I recorded this from my perspective in the United States, and it was only after I finished recording that I realized this might not be applicable to you if you don't live in the United States. Each country has their own regulations on what's allowed and what's not allowed, and some countries are more in your business and controlling than others. I think it's only been in the last couple of years that the United States has actually allowed this autonomy in ordering your own labs. So we're going to dive into the episode, and I apologize that this does not apply to every single one of my listeners. Nobody else can take care of your health for you. Yep, you can have input, you can have advisors, you can have people on your team, but you are in charge of your own health. So today, let's talk about ordering your own lab work and making sure that you get what you need. I'm going to tell you how to do it, how to get your results, how to interpret your results so that you can take action as the CEO of your own health. Welcome to the Health with Hashimoto's podcast. This is where you, exhausted, overwhelmed, tired, learn simple, true, and sustainable things that you can do on your path to whole health. So lab work is kind of this area that we have just given over to doctors in the past, forever years. It's not something that most people feel like they can just go in and get their own labs. And a lot of people who have Hashimoto's or thyroid problems find that they have arguments with their provider when they say, hey, I want to know my reverse T3. I want to know how much my body is saying, whoa, no, we're not going to convert the inactive form of T3 to the active form of T3. We need to rest. We need to recuperate. We need to heal. That's what your T3 is. It's like the brake system. A lot of providers do not order the reverse T3. A lot of providers do not order anything other than TSH. Well, TSH, as you know from episode 3, where I talk about all of your labs and what they mean, TSH is only your brain telling your thyroid, hey, we need more energy. Please kick out more thyroid. That's all it is. It does not tell you how much T4, how much inactive thyroid is available in your body. It does not tell you how much T3, the active form of thyroid, is in your body. It does not tell you even if you have antibodies. There are so many more parts of the picture that you need to know as the CEO of your own healthcare. Now, if you do not yet have the Hashimoto's 101 guide, head down to the show notes and click the link that's a free PDF that I made for you so that you can know, what do these labs mean? What do I need to do on day one when you're diagnosed with Hashimoto's? What do I need to do? What are my first steps? I created that document so that you have it right there in your hands, and it can guide you as you get started on your journey of health and to better health with Hashimoto's. So if you have listened to episode 3 and you know about those labs, you know how they work, and if you have that Hashimoto's 101 guide, again, you know the labs that you want, then it's time to get the labs. Some of your doctors and your nurse practitioners are going to be on board and they're going to know, hey, we need to look at the whole picture. And some of your providers are going to be behind the times and they're going to just look at TSH. If you have a provider who is only looking at the TSH, it's time to find a new provider, quite honestly, because the TSH only is not giving you a full picture. So if that's all that your provider is looking at, then they're not giving you the best care that you can. Now, we know that doctors in general, as required by insurance, they only have 7 to 9 minutes with you in a visit. That's not very much time. Not at all. It's ridiculous. And it is because of insurance companies, not because of your doctor. And that is why I choose to use a provider who is outside of insurance. I can submit my receipt to insurance if I want, but my provider is not limited to what the insurance company tells her that she can do with me. She can spend as much time as she wants with me. She can order whatever labs she wants, and then I pay her. Yes, it's more out of pocket. It's definitely an inconvenience in this world where we have, really grown accustomed to just going to the doctor, giving our insurance card, and paying just a little bit. But when the healthcare system is broken, you have to do something else. And so that is what I have chosen to do for my care. Now, my kids, they will still go to the regular doctor and do insurance because well, they're just getting, an annual physical for sports or whatnot. But for me, with thyroid problems, with an autoimmune problem, I need a provider who can spend time with me. I need a provider who can actually give good input on my plan of care, who can be an advisor and see things that I don't see. That's what we have advisors for. So let's talk about getting your lab work. Now, whether you're working with a provider who knows what you need and who is really good with the whole picture of thyroid, or whether you're working with somebody who doesn't know anything or just knows TSH and you want to do your own thing, either way, you can order your own labs. I love that we live in this modern day where we can hop online, click a link, and order our own labs. In episode 3, you heard me talk about my friend Eva, and she has a link that I used to order my own labs. I clicked her link. I looked at the panels available. Now, a panel is just a group of labs that the lab corporation has decided these go well together. If somebody wants this picture of health, they're probably going to want this set of lab results. So I looked at their panels available, and I ordered the labs that were going to give me a good picture of what's going on. For me, I wanted the thyroid foundation panel plus thyroid panel add-on. That's the one that I got. It contains all of the normal things, so the TSH, the free T3, the free T4. It includes your vitamin D level, along with other things like your iron, because you need to know that. Your A1C, which is a picture of your blood sugars over the past months. The A1C is usually something that people who have diabetes get so they can see how they're managing their blood sugar. But it's important for everybody to know because, as I talked about in one of the early episodes, your blood sugar is a huge stressor which can trigger autoimmune problems. So I want to know about, how has my blood sugar been over the past couple months? This panel also includes selenium, which is important to know when you have thyroid problems. The add-on panel includes the reverse T3, which I definitely wanted because that is what I have been working on the most. When I first got my labs, that was the one that concerned me. Of course, the TSH is something to look at, and my antibodies I am keeping an eye on. And my vitamin D, I took action on, but my reverse T3 is the thing that I was focused the most on because that's a picture of how much my body was saying, no, we're not going to prioritize increasing our energy right now. We're going to prioritize rest and healing. So that is the one that I am the most curious about to see if I have made a difference. Because that is the goal, to give my body what it needs to be able to do its own job. That is definitely a theme you hear on this podcast over and over, whether it's me talking about activating certain pathways within your own body with the protandem NRF1 and NRF2. That's activating your body to do its own thing, what it's designed to do. Or getting adequate sleep so that your body can do the things it's designed to do while you're sleeping. Because it's while you're sleeping that your body heals. It's while you're sleeping that your body repairs things. It's while you're sleeping that your brain runs the dishwasher cycle to clean things out. If you don't want Alzheimer's, you need to make sure that you're getting good sleep every single night. If you want to have a sharp mental focus, you need to make sure that you're getting good sleep every night, or at least, do your best to enable the best sleep possible. And I've worked quite a bit on that too, because a year ago, when I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, I knew that my two biggest areas that I needed to work on were sleep and stress. I shared my story in, I think, the second episode of this podcast, but I talked about how my sleep was not good. I got the Aura ring so that I could see where my sleep cycles were, and I was so shocked to find out that my deep sleep was just teeny tiny. It was not the 20% that is recommended for what you need each night. I have done a lot on my deep sleep, or on my sleep in general, to improve my deep sleep. And I am to a point where I am consistently getting 13 to 18% deep sleep throughout the night, and my total duration of sleep has also increased to better levels than it used to be. And as far as stress, well, I'm interested to see what my reverse T3 reveals about that, because as you heard in the episode where I talked about my flare, I had a very physically stressful winter. My skin flared up, and that constant itching pain, it was very, very stressful. It impacted my sleep. It impacted every single minute of the day. It was not good. My Oura Ring measures my heart rate variability, which is one indication of your stress levels. And my heart rate variability has gotten much worse than even it was last year. And I attribute that to that huge months-long flare event that I had, which is resolved now. And I'm working now on, decreasing my stress. So I'm very interested to see what my reverse T3 is. And I'm sure you are super interested to see what your whole picture of health looks like. When you get your lab work, what's it going to show you? What is it going to reveal that you can take action on? Are you going to look at it and you say, oh, well, I see that my vitamin D level is like in the teens. And I know from the episode on vitamin D that I want my vitamin D level to be at or around 80. And of course, listen to that episode, because I did give you a couple different expert opinions and differing research on vitamin D. Again, you are the CEO of your own health. So you get to look at the data, you get to learn from this podcast and other sources what is ideal for you, what your goals are, and then how to take action. How do you know what action to take? That's a great question. The first thing you can do is download the Hashimoto's 101 guide. It's down in the show notes, like I already said, and it contains the first steps for you to take. I tried to make it very simple because that's my goal. True, simple, and sustainable steps so that you can move on the path to better health. The second thing you can do is schedule a Hashimoto's health session. In that session with me, we will go over what's going on right now and what you can do next. I try to keep the tips simple and sustainable so that you can take action right away. Do not expect to come out of that session with me with a list of 50 things to do, because that's overwhelming. You're not going to do it. It's not simple and sustainable. We work together to discover your next step on your path to whole health. If you want help interpreting your labs, that is not my area of expertise. I know enough to give you the information, but I have not studied lab work in depth. My friend Eva is the expert on that. She can look at your lab panel, she can look at your numbers, and she can say, oh, this thing here impacts this thing over here. This thing over here impacts another thing. She looks at your lab work with a holistic lens, and she sees the whole picture. She is incredible. Her knowledge and just her perspective on your lab work and what's going on in your body, it is so valuable. When you use her link to order your labs, you have the option to talk with her after to schedule that consult so that she can help you interpret the lab work. Because while you are the CEO of your own health and nobody can do that job for you, it does not mean that you are an island. It does not mean that you're on your own. It does not mean that you are lost and stuck. No, you have a lot of people who are willing to join your team and to help you on your quest for better health and more energy. I will have the link to EVA'S her lab link down below in the show notes. I also, of course, have the link to the Hashimoto's 101 guide, and I always have a link to the Hashimoto's health session down in the show notes. So go ahead and click whichever one of those things you need next. I would start at the beginning. Have you gotten the Hashimoto's 101 guide yet? If not, start there, because it will lead you to the next thing. It gives you the basics. Have you already gotten the Hashimoto's 101 guide? Awesome. Are you going to start with the labs, or are you going to start with a health session? Either one is okay. You get to pick, based on where you are now, what you need next. And perhaps your provider, your doctor or nurse practitioner or PA, perhaps they are totally on board and are willing to order a full lab panel so that you can get a great picture of health. If not, that's where EVA'S link comes in. Or if you work with an independent practitioner like I do, I ordered my own labs. I will give the results to my nurse practitioner because she's on my team. I'm not trying to hide anything. Ordering your own lab work is not so that you can hide from your doctor. It's so that you can get a better picture of what is going on. That's always the goal. More data, more knowledge helps us to do better in the future. Now, I want to warn you, some people go too far. In the emergency department, I heard one of the doctors quote a research study, and I don't know which one it was, but that study indicated that patients who get everything they want have worse outcomes. And that research study, at least as he explained it to me, it's the patients who wanted, lots of testing, including MRIs and X-rays and CAT scans. They had worse outcomes. You have to have balance. You have to know why you want something. You want a full picture of what's going on with your labs and with your health. But you can't take it to an extreme because that will cause further stress on you and it decreases your health instead of promoting better health. So use common sense. Have a balanced approach. Get the whole picture and then take action. Don't keep digging for minute details. Get the whole picture. Say, what can I do with this information? How is this going to determine what I need to do next? And if you need somebody on your team, my friend Eva is fantastic at helping you figure out your lab results and what it means and what you can do next. And if you need help looking at your Hashimoto's, your health in general, that is where I come in. You can schedule a Hashimoto's health session with me. Both options are great because both my friend Eva and myself are on your team or would love to be on your team to encourage you, to support you, and to help you discover your next step on the path to better health with Hashimoto's. I will see you next week on the podcast. And if you haven't left a review yet, would you take a couple seconds to head down to the review spot? You can't do it from the episode page. You have to do it from the podcast page. And it takes just a couple seconds to highlight the stars and to leave a couple sentences. Your reviews really do mean a lot to me. I smile and I am so grateful every time I read one. And also, it helps the podcast be seen by more people. I am now over 15,000 downloads for this podcast, which just blows my mind. I am so honored and grateful to be able to share this information with so many people. And your review helps the podcast be shown to more people so that even more women can discover that there is hope. They can have better energy. They can have better health with Hashimoto's. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. Please be sure to discuss any concerns and plans with your trusted healthcare professional.